my man a long time ago, he was dating a girl at the time. He was kind of giving like a similar analogy to that, where she was basically saying like, oh, you just expect a lot, or you do a lot, this and that, whatever, and like you just the greatest man ever, da da da. And he was like, well, tell me how I'm not type shit though. Like, essentially, I'm paraphrasing whatever. But what he ended up saying was like, whether to her or to me, whatever, just telling me the story. He like, yo, like, I'm like, all right, let's say you LeBron James. Let's just say you the greatest nigga on earth, whatever. Everything that come with you, she should be willing to take it because everything that come with it, whatever. But is it possible that like she may be like, you know what? I'll take Kevin Durant. Like, I'll take Kevin Durant, where it's like, it ain't LeBron James, but it's Kevin Durant though. And it's like, that is that like what he's trying to say is like, I think she's not realizing that this is LeBron's situation and they should just beat it. But I'm like, also, can everybody just not want LeBron though? Can everybody just not take what come with that? Like, no, I'll take a Steph or a KD situation because that may be just a better fit for me. And he was kind of pushing back. Like, no, I think she just, or a person in that situation will just be tricking stuff out of their spot with her. Because no, you want LeBron James.
I think everybody will want the top, but everybody's not fit to sustain top quality. So everybody wants a fucking Cullinan, a fucking Lamborghini, but everybody can't maintenance this Cullinan.
Everybody wants a McCullough?
No, so I'm saying a good car.
Okay.
So I'm using specifics because you pick
level.
Yeah, because you're using basketball and I'm taking the car.
Gotcha.
So I'm saying everybody wants the best of whatever, the best that's available, but everybody not able to sustain the best. So that's when the settle comes in. It's like, damn, if I could have a mansion, I would have a mansion, but I'm cool with a 4-bedroom. Now, again, it's subjective to the person's interest. Whatever your interest is, you want the best of that. You don't want the fucking, if your interest is cologne, you want the best fragrance. You don't want some mid shit, but you like, I can't afford the best shit, so I want the best mid shit. So I think that when it comes to dealing with women, when you dealing with a high level man, right? And when I say high level, we're not even just talking about financially. We're not talking about, anything external. We're talking about just the standard in which we carry ourselves. It comes with unstated restrictions. When I mean by unstated restrictions, I'm saying like I don't have to tell you not to do certain things. You gonna know that you just can't do certain things with me. And if you're not ready to be that version of yourself, like if you want an immature man with money, you're not gonna appreciate a man that's responsible because your wants don't fit what I naturally am. Follow what I'm saying? So she would much rather say, you know what? I'd rather deal with him that's gonna do this and let me do this or whatever case may be because I'm getting the things that I ultimately want. Even though this is what I want and need, this part of me don't want to do what I got to do in self to deserve this type of man. Because it's like, it's so funny. I always say, one of the most fucking famous schools, I shouldn't be cursing with what I'm about to say. One of the most famous things that women reference about the Bible is he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But they often neglect the fact that they say he who finds a wife. So it's like I say it all the time. In order to be married, you got to carry yourself. If you want to be in a relationship, you got to carry yourself like you're in a relationship. You want to be married. You don't wait to get the title to become the position. You play the position, and that's how you get the title. So if let's say he who finds a wife, that means I would have already found you as that, not you become that on my watch. Now, I'm not saying we can't grow and develop, but I'm just saying it's not something that I have to create. I'm not going to make you that. I'm finding you, and then you are already maneuvering in that manner, so you're deserving of that title. You don't fucking find somebody and then be like, all right, here's a, and I'm going to make her it just don't go like that.
Yeah, and to that point, to pivot a little bit, one of the books I didn't finish actually, but I might go back to it, the Celestine Prophecy, something like that. But it was an interesting book. And one of the things that kept, echoing in there was like, there is no coincidences. Yeah. So recently I've been identifying these things that keep happening. So recently I was talking to my mans and bring it back to the pod. When we had one of our past episodes, we was talking about, the whole pastor dynamic in households and how, that can having a relationship ran by the pastor like that. And that was a whole great tangent we had that I wasn't familiar with.
I said realization.
Realization of like dating dynamics that's affected by that. So I'm like, is interesting. Then my man's from a situation that he was going through in real life that was the same exact thing, whatever. And he told me he went through a whole thing now where he's reading the Bible and learning shit about this and that, whatever. Then Ricky invited me to this event that he had that's about, the faithness and that, whatever. Cool thing.
So you about to get baptized, basically.
I already did. I'm joking. But no, and then you told me you was reading the Bible and everything you're coming from with there. So I wanted to recenter everything and then let's talk about the beginning and then just certain thoughts of, what we can get from that. If everybody just kind of take a step back and see like, all right, where can we get some insight, Take us to church, sir. What we got?
And to take us to church.
Take us to church.
So one thing I will say, right? One of the big trends that's
There are also no coincidences.
one of the big things that's going on right now, and they talk about lack of accountability in men and women. I wrote the book on accountability, right? The art of accountability. Then they also talk about deflection, right? They always talk about people deflecting. I'm like, yo, we look at these things that exist in our parallel and in our reality of topics and, you know, relevancy now as if they are new. The lack of accountability goes all the way back to the beginning. the first book, Genesis. It's like, even when we think about deflection, right? You think about it, right? Like, when God approached Adam and said, you know, why you hiding? He said, I'm naked. He said, how you know you're naked? Did you eat from the tree that I told you not to eat from? He said, Eve gave it to me. Eve, did you give Adam the fruit? The serpent tricked me. They was giving God to run around. So people have been finding ways to deflect since the beginning of time. These deflections are not new. So this is why boundaries and accountability are necessary, because you know what God said, all right, I'm just going to hold y'all accountable and I'm going to enforce it by, you going to always have to work hard. You're going to have painful pregnancies and, you know, this is just what it is, or whatever the case may be. So we think about these things and we look at people and their deflections, and then people get mad. They take it personal. You're not taking accountability. But it's like, it goes back to understand how accountability works. Accountability is for self, right? If had Adam flat out just told God, yo, you know, because we don't know what would have happened if he would have just said, I messed up. We don't know. Pregnancy might not be painful. You know, men might not have to work so hard, you know what I mean, to barely make it and what is it, make harvest, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that he didn't do that, you know, that was like, and then her doubling down like, oh no, I got tricked. So it's like, we don't really know what it could have been if he would actually take the accountability, but it is for self to take, and that's why it's the most gratifying, and that's why you get the grace when you are able to take accountability. But when you don't take accountability, if somebody's doing something, then it's for you to kind of just enforce it by saying, okay, these are my boundaries. God said, all right, you know what? I can't make you admit to what you did, but I can say, and that's just what it's going to be until the end of time. So when you think about dealing with people in real life and circumstances, like, you can't force somebody to take accountability. It's like, I tell people, accountability is a tool, not a weapon. A hammer doesn't change. The functions of the hammer is depending on who's using it. So you can use a hammer to build, or you can use a hammer to destroy, and that comes down to your intentions. If you are trying to hold somebody accountable, that's like you literally taking a hammer and running around with it, trying to hit somebody with it. What you think they're gonna do? They're gonna run from it. This is why people running from accountability. But if you take a hammer as a tool, you say, you know, I'm gonna use this to build something up, you can create beautiful things. So when people understand accountability to be a tool and not a weapon, and don't try to weaponize, they realize, okay, this is for me to use, not for me to try to hit somebody else with. And in the event that it comes down to me having to hold somebody accountable, I can use this same hammer to build up these boundaries that's not going to allow you to cross them again. So, you know, that's like one of the things that was interesting to me.